All right, we are back. And now, not only we are back with Russell and Jason from Oozlefinch. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Happy anniversary.
Hey, thank you. Really appreciate you both spend some time today with us, and we are so excited. And we have a few people email me asking about, hey, when can we see Oozlefinch? I was like, you guys gotta wait because they are the one of our VIP, and now we are here. All right. Jason Russell, I will let you guys get your few seconds introduce yourself and Uzafin as well. Most people already know you guys, but anyway, go ahead.
Thanks, Jensen. My name's Jason. I'm the sales manager here at Oozlefinch. I'm responsible for keeping the flow moving out across the U.S. We're having a great year, knock on wood, so far. Up to 18 states, kind of across the country. Really partnering with some great distributors and retail spots, and happy to be here today.
Well,
Yeah, my
really
name's
awesome.
Jason is awesome. Uh, Russ, I own Oozlefinch, founded it back in 2015 is when we started planning everything, opened the doors in 2016. Obviously we're in Hampton Roads, and for us it was a big decision we made about 3 years ago to just go all sour and really make that our focus because it's what we love to do. We're good at it. We understand the science behind it, and so yeah, we made that commitment in a market that probably doesn't appreciate sours too much. They're getting there, and we're building quite a following here in our home market now. But when we first started, everybody thought we were nuts. But for us, it's been awesome. Like Jason said, we're in 18 states now. We focus strictly on small bottle shops in all of our distribution territories, and we're throwing sour beers out from here down to Florida up to Maine and over to California. So yeah, I've been doing well through COVID, and yeah, excited that y'all are having an anniversary. Obviously, Jensen, we've known you for a while, and really appreciative of you know you're one of the first to take in our sours and our brand and really show it some love. So it's a cool thing to see you
Yeah.
guys successful as well. So
Well, just like you mentioned, I still remember like the first month we opened up at High Side and we have featured one of the beer from Oozlefinch, and one of them is actually one of your like barrel aged sour that won the Virginia Gold Cup. And I was
yeah,
so excited about it. I love it. And I was like, wow, this brewery is like, under the radar. And what we like to do is like when we found something like that, we are super excited. We want to like, put more spotlight on it and let people know about you guys. And I mean, since we first tapped your beer at High Side, and you guys been putting out like really, really good stuff. And we are, a lot of people start to like turn around and say, wow, this is kind of like cool brewery out from Virginia Beach. And, oh, I guess technically you got Hampton Road, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yep. But anyway, people start to pay attention to that, and you guys just blew up like last year, especially when you put together the FML Beer Festival.
yep,
Well, tell us more about that because that actually truly my inspiration to do this virtual event because I know that because of pandemic we cannot do, close next to each other, hugging each other and share beer together. Figure of virtual events like this gonna a best way for us to share beer and then all this fun thing that we like to do, and would love to hear some of your inspiration like about the FML beer festival that you put together. I know it's a huge hit and everybody love it.
yeah. Um, Honestly, when COVID hit, it was a scary situation, I think, for all breweries when it happened, especially those of us that depend so much on community, the community tap room piece. And so when COVID shut everything down, we were sitting there naming a beer when the governor shut down the state basically, and the FML beer that we originally came out with was in response to my response when the governor shut us down, and so they were like, "Hey, let's name a beer that." So the FML beer came out. It was a massive hit locally. Folks drove out here and bought it out in a couple days, and so it was the first glimmer of kind of hope that we had in COVID. And then, having so many staff members, I have 5 managers on staff, and I have, at the time we had probably 20 bartenders on staff, and so many people that really depend on us for a living. And I made a commitment to my team that I'd spend every dollar we have in the bank paying them as long as we could. And we had a good enough cash flow at the time, and capital built up to where we could last for a while. And but I told him, I said, I need you guys to come together, excuse me, and really figure out a way to make this work and do things differently. And so we all sat down, put our heads together, and came up with a bunch of other ideas. We within 24 hours of the COVID thing being announced, we had our delivery permit, and so we started doing delivery. We're one of the first breweries out this way to do that, and then I had a crazy idea to do a beer festival via mail, and not just stop at just beer, but also bring in the festival community piece and bringing a lot of folks together. At the time, we had made a hire of a new brewer, or not a new brewer, but a new assistant brewer at the time, Bethany. We had hired her. She got let go from her brewery down the road the first day of COVID, and we hired her the second. And so we had the founder of Hop Culture got a hold of that story and wrote an article for Forbes, which was pretty cool for us to pick that up. And then while I was talking to him for the article, I said, "Hey, man, we're going to do this, and I'd love to have you on board." And Kenny immediately said yes. And so we partnered up with Hop Culture. We called all the brands that we knew and had done stuff with. He called brands that he knew. And before you knew it, we had a plan together, and we were, throwing one of the first virtual beer fests of its kind. And we ended up applying and getting licensing in 10 states to sell directly to consumers. So we sold probably about 1,200 tickets to that fest and sent all those boxes out from, Virginia up to DC, all the way over to Oregon and Nebraska. So it was a huge success for us, and we had so much fun doing it. We've actually planned a few more, and so now we have the Friends with Benefit Sour Fest with an absolutely insane killer lineup of 22 different breweries that we haven't made it public yet, but we're releasing tickets for that this coming week. So it's we're excited about that one. We're going to be able to go to 30 states instead of 10 this time. So it's going to be much bigger, far more involved. So, yep.
Well, that sounds awesome. I seen a lot of marketing came up for that, and the Sourfest sounds amazing, and really, really looking forward to this one because you guys did a good job, really good job. Last one, so many people came to me and say, "Hey, Oozlefinch had put out a really killer, virtual events and put together a nice package that everybody can bring home and drink." Again, I really appreciate you helping me out with this one because to do this virtual events is hard. And I'm so glad that you share some of your experience with me and give me some feedback, some advice as well. And also, thank to Jason as well to able to help me to coordinate, to send us some beer, and try to coordinate to get a 12 different brewery sending beer at the same time. And it's just very challenge. And luckily, Jason and I were able to work there and have some backup plans, so we get all the beer we need. So one thing we love, there you go. One thing I love to do is can you tell us? I know the upcoming Sour Fest is one thing, and as far as the beer, I start to notice a lot of sour with a bunch of different adjunct that you add into it. And some of them have really weird combination, but it turned out it works. And a weird combination came out. The flavor wise is wow, this is amazing. I wouldn't think it worked, but it actually worked really well. Can you tell us more about where you guys get these kind of inspirations? Why put 5 ingredients instead of just one fruit instead of 3 different fruit? And I love that, the experiment, try and error sometimes, but just tell us more about that.
Yeah, I think for us, it's doing what we love, but not doing the same thing everybody else is doing. Anybody can throw, 3 drums of raspberry beer and make it taste great and look like puree in a glass. But for us to be able to take, 3 to 5 different types of fruit and put it in that quantity and really work the flavor to our liking is it's challenging. It's fun. Rachel took over as our head brewer, and if you guys don't know about her, she's absolutely killing it. She's in her mid-20s, fresh out of college. She started working here and worked her way up from bartender. Now she's running the brewery and making some of the most kick-ass beer that I've tasted. And so she's constantly running ideas by us. We're running ideas by her. And we use the flavor Bible a lot to make sure that flavors that we're pairing together do go well together. But honestly, doing all these weird flavor, we have a beer called Don't Be Weird, which is always 4 or 5 fruits just slammed in beer. And that, the kind of thought process behind that is creating flavors from all these fruits that folks have tasted in beer before, but creating a unique flavor experience that folks have never tried before. And so that's our goal, is just to challenge people's palates. I mean, that's our mission statement, is to challenge your palate and make you really question, how whatever we did in that beer is possible. And, we get some folks that don't understand it and are all about their traditional styles. But for us, it's what we love to do. It makes it a lot more fun, unique, and it's not a monotonous task over and over again every day. It's always something fun, something new. So that's why we do it.
Now you're talking about a lot about your beer. I feel like I'm a little bit thirsty. I'm getting ready to crack one. Jason, do you have one beer something you want to add as well?
I was going to say it really pushes our creativity. We don't settle. We like to continuously see how we can just turn it up a few extra notches and what we can do to, again, stand out from a crowd. We're incredibly lucky to have a staff here that just is all in. And when we have our brainstorming sessions, it is all in. So constant innovation, staying ahead, and like Russ says, push the envelope a little bit, see what you can do. So,
yeah, no, I mean, again, you guys been pushing the envelope quite a bit and has been challenged my palate quite a bit. And I always question myself, do I know how to taste beer? Because you guys put out some killer beer. So this one, the Millionaire Pie style, right? Tell us more about this one.
This is a DOS Yummy series. The DOS Yummy series that we do is more a series that's centered around different pie flavors. Rachel. Whoops, Siri thought I was talking to her there. Sorry. Rachel really loves this series and loves this, and so she has. She's always looking for some type of pie to kind of emulate and put in a can. And her the first one we did of this was a key lime pie, which she emulated after Wegmans key lime because it's her favorite. And she won a bunch of gold medals with it throughout a few competitions throughout the country, and has done really well with it. And then she's just kind of taken that style and made all these different pies that she likes. But this one is modeled after a millionaire pie.
That's awesome.
I mean, her biggest goal is just a lot of tropical fruit and coconut and vanilla, and kind of focusing on those flavors. So
this has been an amazing brew. I still remember 2019 when we all went to Schilling in New Hampshire for the Oktoberfest, and we all spent 2 nights at the haunted house that you rented. We had so much fun there. Rachel has been sharing a lot of good story about brewing, and what I like the most about Oozlefinch is how you guys, elevate women in craft beer, because that is so rare. And you guys have 2 brewer, female, and they are making killer beer for us, and this is really awesome. And well, I mean, you want to show us around your brewery, so again, I know you have expanded quite a bit on your barrel collection. Do you mind to show around and let us see what's going on there?
Yeah, we can. We do have you on a laptop, so it's going to be a little screwy, but we're gonna try and make it work. All
right.
I will say, back room is most of our storage and quite a mess. So We have about 100 barrels in our barrel program. You can see they reach all the way down the wall here. And, we've got them stacked up 3 high right now, but we're constantly expanding that and, always doing some good sours, some good barrel aged sours. You want to come with us, Jason? Yeah, come on, buddy.
It seems like your barrel
So
collection has expanded from last time I was there.
yeah, we probably got about 30 more, I think, since the
Mm-hmm.
last time you were here. But obviously, we're stacked up on cans.
Mm-hmm.
We actually want to order another truck of those because those are going to be gone in a week or two. But we'll take you down where the magic happens.
Right.
We're a 15 barrel brew house. We just opened, or we just bought 2 new 30 barrel tanks. So now we're running with 4 dedicated live sour tanks. We sour our beer a lot different than most other breweries. A lot of folks are kind of scared to keep live bacteria going in the brewery. We've got it down to a science, and we're very confident in the fact that we can do it without infecting our clean beer. So we have sour beer tanks right next to clean beer tanks, and never had an issue with those really affecting us too bad. So, but I'll walk you over here. Brew house, same one since we've had the beginning. 15 barrels at a time. Usually the girls will double brew to fill one of our 6 fermenters. So this is our fermenter red. We've got have 6 30 barrel tanks. And then we have a bunch of these small PCMs right here. A lot of those are in-house beers only. We recently quit making our Hefeweizen and selling it out of house, so it's only an in-house beer now. And so that goes in those tanks. We do a lot of hazies in those tanks because the last thing we want is sending a ton of hazies out to market and then they being sold for 30 days or whatever. So we're being really strict with keeping most of our hazies in-house now. And then we do barrel aged stuff in there. But other than that, this is pretty much where they make it, where they all make it happen. I'll let Jason. I'm gonna let Jason finish the tour. He could take you through the tasting room and show you the tasting room. And then
Absolutely.
you take them outside and show them the view.
Oh yeah, you get a beautiful view outside, especially the
We
waterfront.
do. It's a little rainy here today, but here we go.
There you go.
These are the people that are most important to us. Thumbs up, everyone. Give it to us.
Keep us over.
Come on.
There's Hannah. Hannah was one of our bartenders who's been here for the
Hello.
beginning.
There's Hannah. And yeah, it is windy and nasty.
Okay, well, I started losing your Wi-Fi. Oh, you got it back. You got it back.
So we have an amazing meadow here with the Chesapeake Bay right behind us. So we're really, really lucky. When the weather's nice, awesome place to come hang out, and we love it that way.
So this brewery is on the Fort Monroe. It's one of the I guess government-owned building, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yep, we are on a 400-year-old decommissioned Army base that is just so rich in history. So many things happened here, and it's such a special place, not only for, as I mentioned earlier, our own innovation that we like to push forward with every day, but we're on a place that allows us to do so. So it's really, really cool that way.
Oh, so one thing I want to share is a story that you cultivated a yeast from like a chest that you guys found in a museum or something. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, we have a museum here on base that it's just they have all kinds of old artifacts in there. Like Jason was saying, it's really rich in history here. There's a house inside the moat where Abraham Lincoln commanded the Battle of Norfolk. Harriet Tubman was a nurse here on station, and honestly, at the end of the Civil War, the freed slave movement ended here at Fort Monroe, and there were over 10,000 freed slaves or escaped slaves that had had sought refuge here at the fort, and they called it Freedom Fortress. So it literally was the end of the Underground Railroad at the end of the Civil War. So they have all these really cool artifacts and stuff that are in this museum. We had been talking to them for quite a while about the opportunity to get in there and swab something, see if we could find some type of living yeast on it. They found a dinner chest that belonged to the general that did that was responsible for making the contraband decision in the Civil War. And long story short, we got in there, they pulled it out for us. Had been in a glass case for 50, 60 something years. And
Wow.
we swabbed everything. And, we obviously got a lot of mold and stuff back on some of the plates. But there was one plate that came back from inside the lock that was the main lock that held that kind of locked the chest up. And we were able to pull some living yeast from there. Rachel propagated it and grew it up, and it's a wild Brett strain that we have now, and we use in quite a few of our barrel aged beers. And she's done a couple steel tank brews with it as well. So it is. And it's a strain that's proprietary to us, so we own it. We have a yeast bank that has it banked for us, and anytime we need it, we just call them up and they ship us out a pitch of it. And so that's something that we've gotten into, is trying to find our own house culture that nobody else has or isn't available. Honestly, we hadn't shared it before. We went out and did a big collab with Almanac back last January or February, right before COVID, and we had taken it out there, and they used that as the primary fermenter in this big collab that, it had Casa Agria was there with us, McKellar, a ton of, I think there's 8 or 9 breweries that were a part of it. And so everybody brought their own piece, but it was cool to get to utilize something that we had captured ourselves and utilize that to be the primary fermenter in that beer.
Well, that's a great story. Totally. How you able to like pull out some yeast from like 50 or 100 years old of a chest and then get something like that to make beer. Really, really cool. All right, so we get some questions from the people who are listening to our friend, and many of them are Oozlefinch fans, and they love your beer. And they love what you guys have been doing. One of the questions that we have for this particular beer is that you have a pecan flour in it. So what is that? Is this like a ground pecan or?
It's ground pecan, yeah. Yeah, that was honestly a lot of the places where we source some of our ingredients, we found that powder's a little bit easier to work with than the raw ingredient itself, especially when it comes to any type of nuts or anything like that. So we'll normally use use ground powder or flour for a lot of the beers that require something of that nature.
Very cool. So since your brewery is actually like waterfront, is there a way you can have your boat like slip there and hang out there in the front and go to get a quick beer?
We've talked about that countless times. There is a community pier that's like 50 yards down the road. And I know a couple people have used it, but not too many folks have figured out that it's a community pier that they can moor up to and come over and have some beers. But, as we get bigger and grow and we start to expand this area out front and do some really cool stuff with the building and the big grass yard that we have, it's definitely something I want to look into later is expanding something out in the water. I think would be really, really cool.
So obviously, you get a great space and then a great outdoor space and just waterfront. It's just, it's killer. Like, you get stay there and have a beer. I think you told me the story about Oozlefinch and the logo or the bird itself, and many people haven't heard that. Can you tell us more about the Oozlefinch, the bird itself, the legendary Oozlefinch?
Yeah. So, I could probably talk on it for an hour, but for lack of boring everybody to death, it's long story short, it's it was a secret society that existed within the Army here on Fort Monroe back in 1905 is when it was created. And so they basically created this secret society that they were committed to three things. It was drinking, gambling, and roasting each other. Their Latin motto on their crest means,
Yes.
"What the hell do we?" And so, it was one of those things. The bird looks crazy. There were no trademarks on it, and so no copyrights on the name. And so I put those in as soon as I can. And as soon as I got them, man, we went crazy with it. And it was just luck of having, we pulled the name because it was a local story that was cool and really connected us to our community. But what I didn't expect was how much people would love that damn bird. And so the first didn't use it at all the first year on any merch or anything. And then all of a sudden we realized how much people loved it. And now, that bird's it's on everything now. So, but it really is a unique design. And, it won in the craft marketing awards last year. The first one they've ever done. It won the absolute best. It got a gold medal or platinum or whatever they called it. It was the first place, best character logo or something like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's been really good to us, but it all centers around a secret society, man, that used to be here. And they had a lot of fun, just traditions and customs, and they were all committed to, basically being crazy, and we're all kind of nutty ourselves. So,
Well,
so
it's well known
to
there.
us now. It's up to us.
Well,
Moving forward. Right?
I recall Google Oozlefinch, and I somehow I read somewhere it was a legendary bird, that hairless bird can fly and carry ammunition to the army and
Yeah.
things like that. There's like so many crazy story about the bird itself, and
I
sounds
know.
right. It's very applicable to you guys because you guys are crazy, think outside the box and make good beer, right?
Yeah, man. And then, honestly, that was the
And
whole
hairless.
Yeah, he
And
he's just got a
hairless.
hair. Jason, well, he's on his last career.
No, it is totally a good story to tell. But I remember when we first met, we talked about how you decided to. You were in the police department, and were you like Navy or also a reserve Navy or Army?
Well, I did 10 years in the Navy, but I did 4 active, 6 reserves, and during the reserve time, I actually took a job at Newport News Police Department, where I went from a beat cop, and within 2 years of being there, I was in undercover narcotics, and I did that for about 6.5 years, yeah, it was a fun job, but not worth the risk, and so I ended up having a bad experience there that was life altering and changing. And my wife and I decided, I had 2 passions in life. It was police work and making beer, and I didn't want to do police work anymore. And so she said, let's do beer. And so we did beer, and here we are.
Well, I still remember the story. It's really, really cool story how you get started a brewery. Also, the location is just amazing. Anybody haven't been to Fort Monroe, need to check them out. Stop by and get some beer, and the outdoor space is awesome. Well, again, we are about running out of time, Russell and Jason. Really appreciate you guys spend a good time with us, sharing some stories, showing us around your brewery, and also coordinate to send us some beer. Delicious beer. Hopefully, keep doing that. We would love to join you guys next time when you're doing the Sour Fest. Well, friends, cheers. Thank you for
Cheers,
being
sir.
with us today. Appreciate it. Hopefully we'll see you guys again soon.
Definitely. Happy anniversary,
Happy
bud.
anniversary, Jensen.
Proud of you.
Well, thank you. We'll have you guys come out here next time when we do actual celebration and where we can drink beer together. All right, thank you guys. Have a good one.